Hey guys, welcome to today's video. This is my finance channel. So on today's video I want to talk a bit about why you should invest in property in the next year, in 2021, and you should not wait any longer, because property, real estate, whatever you want to call it, houses, it's one of the best investments you can make. Now I'll just run down a few of the quick benefits of this. Now if you buy a property, basically property is always increasing in value. If you look at it over a 25-year property prices, you'll see that property prices have gone up. Now it depends on the area where you're buying and things. Certain areas are better than others. Ideally you want to try and buy in an area where there are developments scheduled, where there's going to be in a few years a school being built or a university. There are websites you can check online to see where there is future development that's planned. So buying in those areas, you can buy a house at a good price, and the price of the property will go up. So I'm not talking about buying with your own money. I'm talking about buying with the bank's money, because it's the best option here. You ideally want to be you'll be paying around 20% deposit if it's a buy-to-let property, to rent out. So if the property costs 100,000, you'll need 20,000 cash. That's the unfortunate downfall of this. You will need that money, and obviously some more money for the fees involved. But once you have that money saved, it's not that difficult. There's lots of ways to save money. I've got videos on how to save money. But if you can save yourself a lump sum like that, it is possible to get a loan, but it's very difficult to get a business loan, and unfortunately it would be illegal to use a personal loan for business purposes. People do it, but it is illegal, just so you know, because obviously it's easier to get a personal loan for 25 grand or something. But anyway, you put down that deposit, and you owe the bank 80,000 basically. Now the best option here is to get the longest mortgage possible. So 35 years if possible, 30 years. So you've got the lowest monthly payments, and then you will rent out the property, and that will more than cover those payments. Obviously over the years the rent will increase. You can increase your rent obviously with inflation. Or when perhaps you'll keep the rent the same for a good tenant, and then when someone moves out, you'll increase the rent. But that will more than cover the mortgage payment. In some cases it will cover it by quite a lot. It depends on the house and the property you're buying and things. I know at the moment in the United States, outside of a lot of the coastal areas, proper inland, in some of those less sort of populated states, shall we say, there are houses that are extremely cheap. We're talking about $40,000 or around that price, and the rents are high in comparison to the actual price of the property. And that's the same in the UK really. Rents are high on most properties. It's very difficult. There are no cheap properties anymore. Rent is always going up, it's never going down. In a recession, rent normally increases. Property prices may drop a small amount, but rent will increase because everyone wants to rent. So it's a great investment. It will increase your cash flow, get a fixed mortgage, and just keep those payments the same, and over the years the rent will increase and your cash flow will increase. A good option to do here is if you buy a house that's in a bit of disrepair, you have some more money to obviously to invest in the property, to paint it, to redo the kitchen and bathrooms, whatever may need doing. You can increase the value of the property. So if you bought the property for 100 grand, you paid 20,000 deposit, and you owe the bank 80,000. You then put some money into the property to do it up. Yes guys, so once you put the money in and you've refurbished the property, the new value of the property will increase. So you can bring someone from the bank, and they will do an assessment of the property and give it a new value. Ideally you want to increase it, you want you want to sort of increase the value from what you paid, 20 to 30,000. Reason being, once you have this new value, you can then take that money out with the bank again. So you can, refinance basically. And once you've refinanced, you can use that money for the next deposit. So you can buy another property. You can do the same. Sometimes you really don't need to invest that much money into a property to increase the value of it. If you buy somewhere that's been abandoned, that's full of rubbish, there's no structural damage or anything. You just really need to, remove all of the rubbish and all the trash and everything, and just paint the place up, decorate it a bit. It won't cost you a lot, but the difference to when the person came before and assessed the value of it, it will be completely different, just with a bit of paint and a bit of cleaning up. So it's not necessarily that you need to start smashing walls down and things. It's not necessary at all. Obviously, then you can perhaps increase the value more, changing the size of rooms, bathrooms and things, but to begin with, none of that's necessary. You just need to find, a property that you can manage. If it's something that you can do by yourself, even better. If you can paint it, you can, clear it up, whatever. Obviously you'll save money there, and then you can take that refinance and take that money out and do another property. Just do it in your own time, in your spare time, your weekends. I'm not saying, give up your job and turn into a full-time property developer buying your first house. It's not really going to happen. But you can easily do this as a part-time thing, just at the weekends there, especially if you buy cheap properties. And this is the thing, buy cheap properties, don't buy expensive houses. You want to buy something that's like, 40, 50, 60,000 and get the money with a bank, most of it. So you just got a low deposit on there, because the rents between these places and places that cost 200,000 or more are really not that different. So, and you also need to take into account, if you had, a couple of months where the rent wasn't paid or whatever, if you only had, if you'd only bother, if the place was 60,000 for example, and you'd put down, 15,000 for example, then the loan with the bank's only 45,000, the mortgage. So it wouldn't be that much, to pay off. Monthly it might be, a couple of hundred or something a month, especially if you've got the longest term mortgage there. So, it's something that you could, with your own wages, you could cover that for a couple of months if it was needed. Obviously, once you get more properties and things, the cash flow from the other properties will cover any sort of empty property and things like that. Another option, of course, is renting out rooms. There's a lot more money in renting out rooms, but it is a little bit more complicated. Now, I'm going to speak here mainly from the UK. I should imagine it's similar in the United States, Australia, Canada, probably slightly different rules, but the same thing will apply, I should imagine. So, for example, in the UK, average 3-bed small house, the rent may be 700, something like that a month. But if you separate that into rooms and individually rent, the rent will typically be about £100 a week, so £400 a month per room. So just 2 rooms, that is more rent than you'll get from renting out the whole house. It's just one let. So, with 3 rooms there, then it's 400, 800, 1200 a month. If you've got, like a living area downstairs, a dining room, one of those rooms you could also change into another room, and that'll then be another 400 a month. You can convert roof spaces. If you've got a basement, you can convert a basement into another space. All of that will add up. It will just be more rooms, more rooms, more rooms. Now, it may be a bit complicated. Not every house is obviously going to have all those options and things. But what I'm saying is, renting out room for room, even if you just get the 3 original rooms, it will get you 1,200 a month instead of 700. Now, you do need to cover utilities there. So the best thing is always to have to change your living space into another additional room, just to increase that cash flow a bit more. And you can almost always do that. There are rules about how many square meters a room needs to be to rent it out. You need to check that before you buy the property, of course. There are ways that you can change things, you know, if the wall's not supporting any weight, and one room, for example, the living room is huge, but the dining area is small, then you could move the wall so you get 2 rooms there. That's just a way, you know, that's a bit more work involved and things, you know, you're probably not going to want to start out with that. But, you know, just keeping the living room as a bedroom, you know, that 3-bed house, instead of earning you 700, it will earn you now 1,600. Yeah, you take a bit off for the utilities or whatever, but, you know, it's a lot more cash flow. And it will then become an investment property, which will also increase the value more. So, you know, you could sell that house, for example, as you know, ready with all those rooms to let for an investor. So it will be worth more just because of that, just because of the income it can bring in. There are a lot more rules with this compared to just a normal family house, you know, with fire doors, smoke alarms and all of that. You know, bathrooms and things. There are a lot more regulations because obviously more people, it needs to be safe. So you need to stay on top of that. But the answer is simple, really. Once you've got more than a couple of properties, you just search online for a property manager. Now there are people that you know, letting agents, you know, that buy and sell houses, they will manage it for you. But I've rented out you know, houses, you know, to live in myself in the UK, and I can tell you they never visit. In general, I'm sure there's some that do. They never visit, they never do any of their checks. Everything's outdated. You know, they're not on top of things, so it's better to get an independent manager that's got good reviews. Normally they'll charge around 10-11% or something like that, which is not a lot, because then you realistically you'll never need to go back to that property in your life, you know, in general. They will just manage everything. They will cover the gas safety certificates, the electrical certificates, you know, the licence from the local government, all of that. So there's nothing you need. They'll collect rents, put new tenants in. You just do nothing and just collect, you know, your cash flow basically from the property. So, you know, for me, this is why I'm making this video, is because property is the best thing to invest in, because not only are you getting cash flow every month, you're also getting the house price increase over, you know, 20 years or so. So you're making a lot of money, and when the house prices do increase, if there's a spike or something, you know, then you can then refinance, you know, the property for more and more. And once you get multiple properties, you know, perhaps, I don't know, a new university or school's been built nearby or something, and house prices have gone up another 30 grand, well then, you know, you can refinance that again. And as you get more houses, you'll get more options and things like that. So it's a great investment, and all it really needs is, you know, the deposit is the main thing, isn't it, really? You need to save the deposit. You know, that's the big issue here that stops most people, I feel like. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I've got a very dry throat today. But yeah, it's just a fantastic investment. It will make you a lot of money. There's no reason not to do it. I mean, it's probably, I would say it's better than investing in stocks. I do think stocks are a great idea, index funds particularly. But you know, you will make more money quicker by doing this. Not that you shouldn't do stocks as well, but you know, property will make you more money, and as you learn more and more tricks to it, you'll be able to make even more money and refinance for larger amounts. Your credit will improve. They'll lend you more. You know, it's just, you know, it just scales so well. It will just make you a lot wealthier, increase your net worth. That's why it's my number one thing really to invest in for most people. It's something that's not too complicated. It's easy enough. It's sort of, you know, do it and forget. It doesn't require much work after it's done, you know. Probably buying the property and things, you know, it'll all be sorted in 3 months, and then it's done with. You leave it with a manager and it's done. So it's easy. It's an easy and simple investment. It's a passive income, if you like, a good passive income stream there, because you'll just be receiving that cash, you know, every month. And you know, short of World War III or something, you know, people are always going to need properties and you know, places to live in and things. So you know, nothing's going to happen to your house. It's going to be there safe. It'll be there for many years. Just the odd bit of maintenance here and there. So you know, it's just fantastic to invest in, especially people that are a bit older. You know, you're over 30 now, you've perhaps got your own home or something, you know, you got a bit of cash saved up, you're in a stable job and things. One thing here, people used to say that you would, you need to have your own mortgage. You know, you need to have your own house on a mortgage before they would, the bank would allow you to do a buy-to-let. That's not true. It's not true at all. The thing with buy-to-let mortgage, buy-to-rent out, is that you're saying to the bank that, you know, the income from the rent is what will pay the loan. So they're not worried about you losing your job or anything. If you lose your job, then the house is still being rented out, so they've still got their money coming in. That's what they want to see, that the money can be paid. And obviously if it is rented out for double the payment of the mortgage or more, triple the payment, then it's easy for you to pay it. You know, it will be very, you know, it would be not likely that you're not going to make the payment, is what I'm trying to say here. So, you know, don't think that you need your own house first with a mortgage. No, you don't. You just need a good deposit. 20% is the normal thing for, you know, when you're buying properties to rent out to someone else. You can put down more, put down a little bit more. If it's the first one, maybe. And, you know, just obviously your credit counts as well. Try and have good credit and things. But the main thing here is, you know, just showing that you can make payment on that. And, you know, most people can. Let's be honest, most people can. Most people, as they get older, own their own house. So most people are able to. That's just all that's important really to the bank. So, you know, invest in property is my message really from this video. It will make you a lot of money, increase your net worth as the house prices go up over the years. There's no reason not to. So thanks for watching, guys. Any questions, leave me a comment. If you enjoyed the video, give me a like. Any ideas for a new video, I'll make a video that you want to see. So thanks for watching.